Hello again and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm checking out yet another G.I. Joe Classified. This time it is none other than Sergeant Slaughter. So this guy I had on pre-order with the Big Bad Toy Store. He finally arrived when I was away on travels in the UK. So I've only just managed to open up the box and have a look at him. This is the first time that I've experienced a G.I. Joe Classified in the new packaging. As you can see, he has all different forms of artwork on the front and then a small picture of what the figure actually looks like in hand. 53 in the line, all his particulars, Sergeant Slaughter, and then on the back, rather than the collage that we've had in the past, we just get now an image of the actual figure and all the accessories and then some posability. So not entirely sure what I think about that. It's a good idea that you can see what you're actually getting, but I did like that artwork. But this artwork is also quite nice. Maybe it'll grow on me, I'm not quite sure. And then some nice artwork on the side as well. So I paid $35 for this guy from the Big Bad Toy Store, which was a bit more than their usual $25 to $28 price tag. That's about 52 Australian dollars, so a little bit steep. Not entirely sure why. Let's crack him open and find out. Okay, here he is out of the packaging with all his accessories, and as you can see, he comes with an impressive selection of accessories, but yet again, still no stand. All this stuff and no stand. Anyway, we'll get into that a bit later. Before we get started, if you're not familiar with how the new box works, so essentially you get something like this. Well, with this figure, it's probably going to work the same with other figures. You get this, it's like a cachet crate or something, Sergeant Slaughter written on it, and in here you get his accessories on cardboard, so they're mounted on these pieces of cardboard. You also get the instruction guide in there if you need it. It also comes with this bag, and this has some extra accessories in it, so the hands and the smaller accessories. And the figure itself comes on a card back like this. And they even use recycled twine to keep him all in there. So look, they have gone all out with the plasticless packaging, so hats off to them there. But let's see if it is going to be a mainstay or if they're going to return, who knows. But anyway, let's take a look at the actual accessories, because as I said, he comes with heaps. Now I'm going to keep that till last because it's weird and I'll go over it in a minute. So let's take a look at the things we expect with Sergeant Slaughter. First off is his hat. Now this is nice. I am impressed with this. I was worried. The WWE Ultimate Sergeant Slaughter that I have has a very warped hat, so I had my doubts. The Valiverse Sergeant Slaughter is much sturdier, so that's a nice hat. But here, even though it is soft plastic, mine, I think maybe I just got lucky, mine is very nicely done and it fits really well onto his dome. Very nice. He also comes with his iconic sunnies. These are also very nice and they fit very well onto his face, and it doesn't restrict when you put the hat on as well. So far so good. He also comes with this rifle. I'm not a gunman, so I can't tell you what it is, but it's nice, I guess. Has some slight distinction, so the stock and the handle are a lighter shade of brown. Everything else is a matte black. It is still that soft plastic they tend to use, but this one isn't too bad. It's not warped or anything. And this also has a clip. Just goes in, and I think this is a scope, and that just pops on the top there. So loaded out, that's very nice. He also comes with his famous riding crop. Pretty sure it's a riding crop, correct me if I'm wrong. This is nice, so it has nice brown, black, and then gold for the end there, and then this is, I guess, the the lash, the whip, whatever it is, the crop part. So it's nice. His whistle. This is also very well done. It's a soft plastic, and then the whistle is quite tough, but it is molded so that it just looks like it's hanging down because of the weight, and that, to my surprise, does work quite well. Again, it could be the look of the drawer. You could get one that's just totally bent, but mine works well, so very pleased with that. And then finally, at long last, can you believe it? Hasbro have included some hands. Cannot believe it. So in addition to the two fisted hands that are on the figure, he also comes with a left and a right pointing hand. A left and a right holding hand. And also a left and a right clawing or gesturing hand. So, well done, Hasbro. Finally, we get extra hands. If that's what we had to pay the extra bit of money for, then yeah, not too sure about that. It is nice to have extra hands, really nice. I've been saying it for a long time. I really hope that they give other figures extra hands, but I don't think they're going to. They had to do Sergeant Slaughter justice, so I think that's why he got them. But where is the stand? All of this stuff and no stand. Come on, Hasbro. Anyway, accessories are very nice. Okay, so I did actually forget to check out their minifigure. So before we look at the actual figure, let's check out this accessory. So I don't know what to say. They included a mini G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter. Why? Can't answer that. No idea why they did this. You can just slide out the back, and then the figure does actually come out. And it's a mini G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter. So tiny, I can't really pick it up. There we go. Yes, I don't know what to think about this. Don't know why they did it. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just going to stay in the accessory drawer. It's not going to see the light of day. I mean, maybe if they did it with every single figure, then you could have like a mini collection of Joes on your shelf as well. That'd be pretty nifty. But just to have this one-off, I don't get it. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Anyway, let's take a look at the actual figure itself, because I am impressed with this figure. I had my doubts. I saw some of the pictures and it was very clear that they had just used the heavy-duty Roadblock book from the top up. In fact, let's start off with that. Let's just do a quick comparison. Let's bring in the Roadblock. Let's just take his gun off here. Okay, it took me a while to get the gun out of his hand. It is the exact same book. You can see the creases in the shirt are identical. The arms, the veins, the definition, totally identical. The lats have that horrible gap. It is just essentially Roadblock from the waist up. The legs, however, are pinless, so not entirely sure if these are new sculpts. They're certainly not this Roadblock legs. They're different. So just want to get that out of the way. I am aware that this figure is a favourite, so obviously they had to do it proud. All these extra accessories, I really don't know why they couldn't have done a unique sculpt for him. It does look good, don't get me wrong, it does look good. He's massively jacked. The real Sergeant Slaughter was never this jacked, but you know, why not? But I still think that they could have just given him his own sculpt. Yeah, so I just think Hasbro have been a little bit lazy there. Everything else they got right. Yeah, he doesn't have a stand. The head sculpt as well is really, really well done. He has that mean look, the big chin, the mo, the combed back hair. It all looks really, really good. It's Sergeant Slaughter. It's the Sergeant Slaughter that I remember. Just not sure why they couldn't have just given him a unique build, but it's done now. It is what it is, so I guess we just have to accept it. Also with mine, you can see there is some massive paint application issues here where the black from the vest has just washed into the flesh. You can see it here, really, really bad. So that's some QC issues. I'm hoping it's just my figure and yours doesn't have that. But overall, now that that's out of the way, I do like this figure. I really like it. I think it works. Yeah, they were lazy, we've gone over that. Half of it is pinless, half of it isn't, but it still looks really, really good. It could be the addition of fisted hands. Anytime you put fisted hands on a figure of this scale, I think it just makes it much nicer to look at. The vest, as I said, is identical to Heavy Duty Roadblock, just painted black. It does have the creases in there as well, but then the torso does look unique. He has this nice belt with the gold buckle, and then the camo fatigues, completely pinless, as I said. Some nice boots. Don't know that we've seen these on any figure yet. So look, overall, I do think it works. I do think it is a nice Sergeant Slaughter. So in terms of articulation, we know what to expect. He gets a fair amount of down at the head and a fair amount of up. He is quite stiff. It does look like he has some slight movement in the neck. I think there might be a peg down below and above, but it's ever so slight. He gets full rotation. Butterfly joints. Complete rotation at the bicep, double jointed elbow, rotation, and then forwards and backwards on the peg. And obviously we can now remove these. Huge peg for those. It's nice to have those regardless. And then he gets a huge amount of ab crunch all the way down and all the way back. Rotation at the waist, and he does have the rolled off hips, so it doesn't look too unsightly. If you have him leaning to one side, I mean that does, but if you have him like that, it doesn't look too bad. Drop down legs. He has the cut at the thigh. Double jointed knee, quite stiff. Boot cut, and then finally the rocker at the ankle. So the articulation doesn't disappoint, everything we've come to expect. Very nicely done. Okay, so let's get him loaded out. It won't take too long. Although it does come with a lot of accessories, you can't really have all of them on at the same time. So let's put a few on. Okay, so you might think it's a bit boring how I've got him just pointing, but I do like that look for Sergeant Slaughter. And just while we're on it, let's do a quick comparison. I have here the Valiverse first version of Sergeant Slaughter. And then I also have the WWE Ultimate Edition Sergeant Slaughter. So 3 different Sarges, 3 different companies, Mattel, Hasbro, and then Valiverse. Until now, this was my favourite Sergeant Slaughter. Kind of unfair to compare this guy with that guy. Obviously, this is his wrestling look, and this is more his Action Force / G.I. Joe look. But I think it is fair to do a complete comparison with these two. And as much as I like this figure, and I really do like this figure, I think this one just ever so slightly trumps him. And I think that's just because everything seems to work together. This is a fantastic figure, but he's much more real world, I guess. He's much more inclined to an actual fighting situation, whereas this is the drill sergeant figure that I remember. I know there is another version of the Valiverse Sergeant Slaughter. I don't have him, and he does look a little bit better, but until I get him, this is my go-to Sergeant Slaughter. Okay, so my final thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classified Series Sergeant Slaughter. This is a very nice figure. I do really enjoy the aesthetic. I think it just harkens back to that original Sergeant Slaughter that I remember having as a kid. There are some issues, let's face it. They have been a little bit lazy, just reusing a body. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, and they can do that with other figures, but this was somewhat of an exclusive. I know it wasn't, but it felt like it was handled as an exclusive. We saw the real Sarge advertising it. It does have a slightly higher price tag. It comes with extra accessories, so to me it does fit that exclusive bill, and for that you should really be getting an exclusive figure. You shouldn't really be getting a reworked body. That being said, I do like the accessories. I don't really like the small G.I. Joe they've given us. Unless every single figure came with that, I don't really see the purpose for it. But the extra hands, the whistle, the hat, the glasses, the riding crop, don't really care for the gun, don't really think he needs it, but nice to have it there. The only thing that's missing is the stand. Had they got the stand in there, then this would have been a complete home run, but as it stands, no pun intended, it just falls short ever so slightly. Not too bothered about the box art either. I know there was a big hoo-ha with a lot of the community around moving to the plasticless stuff. This is my first experience, and although I do prefer the window stuff, I do think this is a step in the right direction for the environment. Let's see what all the other figures are going to look like further on down the line, but I really do like this figure, and I think he's an absolute must-have for your collection. So if you like this sort of content, then please do consider subscribing, and until next time, take care.